let me talk you guys a bit into this conversation that we are going to go ahead with. Today, our guest is Carly. Carly is someone I met in Thailand last September. She is a vegan. She's a vegan activist, animal activist. She's an ethical vegan. And, well, I will let her talk more about herself once she joins in, and we will wait a little more for some more people to join in. And oh, by the way, if you have any questions for Carly, please feel free to share them, to ask them, and Carly is here to answer all your questions about how to how to make this transition of being a vegan easy. So, we already have some questions from some of the audience, and even Carly got some questions on a post. So, yes, let's wait just a little more, just a little more. Waiting for Carly to join in, and Carly is here. Hey, Carly!
Hey, how are you? Hi, everyone.
I am doing really well. How are you?
Doing good, really good. Just waiting to hear what's going to happen in these next couple days with the lockdown, right? Like everyone else.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. That is what is like, being discussed right now everywhere. So how was your day today, and was it any different from the past week, the past few days, anything new? Because it's a like during this lockdown, it's a very this is the question that is there.
Every day is the same, but I don't mind. I love having a little bit of a routine after being on the road for so long and having every day be different. It's really nice to settle back into a little bit of routine. For those of you who don't know, when I met Sam, I had been traveling for about 2 years straight. So I'm settling in Chennai right now. So I'm in Chennai, and it's really nice to have a routine. So I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Every day is like, I even put it into my schedule in my Outlook calendar on my phone. It's heaven for me. It's a nice change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think people are taking it in very like everybody has got their own perspective, and I think mostly people are liking it. Mostly, I think people are liking it so far. I mean, there are few complaints, but mostly people are, oh yeah, this is good. This is a new, the new normal. Hi, Ruchi.
Hi, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight? Thanks for joining us. Nice to meet you guys.
Okay, so Carly, let's talk about how we met. I think that's one of the interesting stories to start off with.
Do you want to start, or do you want me to go?
Okay, I will possibly I'll start it a little, and then you can fill in the rest. Yeah. So I was in Koh Samui last September, and there we were living in these absolutely cute huts, and they were like absolutely, oh, I love them so much. And Carly was my neighbor, and I think we just I think I just came out of my hut one of the days, and you were there, and I think we connected on your love for India, and then the conversation somehow went ahead. So what do you remember?
Yeah, I think we started talking about India and travel, and obviously we were both in Thailand, but you're from Delhi, and I had been traveling India for a long time, so it was pretty cool that we were both next door neighbors in our huts on the beach in Thailand, and obviously female solo travelers, so that's an insta connection right there. Like, so much respect and love for women who travel alone or that want to.
Absolutely.
So that was definitely an instant connection. And yeah, I think we were taking pictures of each other on the beach for the gram.
I think that's how it started, right?
Hey, I'll take mine if you take yours. Yeah. And then I got breakfast. Yes. So we went to a local vegan restaurant that I had found, run by two Thai women vegan athletes, like running marathons. These women were crazy fit, and they had the most amazing smoothie bowls and raw vegan bars, and yeah, it was just really nice to have you as a neighbor, and that was paradise right there. And we each had our own little hut on the beach, and it was like, what more do you need? It was amazing.
Absolutely. I loved that place. And the whole Lamai beach, it was very peaceful. And I remember that I remember you mentioning that you weren't very sure that how peaceful it would be, but yeah, you really liked it there. I
Yeah,
remember that part.
it was really nice. And here we are back in India, 6 months
Oh
later,
yes, we are.
and I'm
Oh yes, we are.
have this conversation, even like not being a vegan yourself, but wanting to learn more. And yeah, so I'm here to answer any and all questions. So fire away.
Absolutely. So let's take this ahead with the questions that we already have. Okay, okay, Carly. So what I want to start off with is what made you take this path? What made you take this decision of going vegan?
Yeah, so I was always an animal lover from a very young age. It was just in me. I loved animals, and at about 4 or 5 years old, I found out that the meat on my plate was an animal, and I lost it. And I told my parents that I was going vegetarian and I would not eat animals
Mhm.
ever again. So that was that. And my
Uh-huh.
parents supported me. My parents are non-veg. My whole family's non-veg, but they supported me in that decision and let me be
Right.
vegetarian growing up. Then fast forward to about 11 years ago, I was 25, and I picked up a book in a bookstore. It's called Skinny Bitch, and pardon the language. And catchy title. I was like, oh, I think I've heard of this book. I picked it up. I didn't know it was about veganism. But as I read on, the book delved into every level of veganism, from ethical reasons to the environment to health. And I couldn't unknow the information, and I immediately went vegan that day after reading the book. So it was kind of like the more you know, you can't go back once you learn
Right.
this information that I did about really like the horrors of the dairy industry and what the dairy cows and calves go through, and where
Right.
all the dairy products come from. That was a turning point for me, and how the dairy industry is connected to the meat industry, and how
Right. Right.
interconnected they
Right.
are in
Right.
the leather industry. And once I made that connection, I was like, I'm not supporting the dairy industry ever again. They won't get another cent from me. I
Yeah.
couldn't,
Um,
like, I can't personally feel good about supporting that industry. So that was that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And everything else came after, learning about how it's good for the environment, how it's good for my health. All of that was like amazing side benefits. My skin cleared up. I had really bad acne. I lost about 20 pounds, and I got better energy. Everything, my skin was clearer and brighter. So the health came after too. I'm
Right.
36, by the way,
Okay.
almost 37. So
People were wondering, there you go. Okay, so Carly, you call yourself an ethical vegan. So can you maybe share what exactly it means? What do you mean by being an ethical vegan?
yeah, it means that it's not based on a diet. So it's not like going keto or gluten free or nothing against that, or sugar free or being on a diet. I'm vegan because of the animals. And that is the number one reason that I won't contribute to their suffering. So, and being vegan is more than a diet. So it means that I don't wear any animal products. I don't use any cosmetics that are tested on animals or have animal products. I don't
Right.
go to zoos. I don't ride animals anywhere. Elephants, horses, nothing. I don't pay for animal exploitation in any way. So an ethical vegan would be more of a lifestyle than a diet. So
Right,
it's not
right,
just
right.
food on
Exactly. Yeah,
your
that,
plate. It is how you're living your life. Does anything I do in my
right,
life
absolutely.
actually cause suffering to another animal or human? And that's how you would live your life.
Right. So Carly, here I would like to ask you maybe few suggestions that you can give about either books or documentaries, or because I remember you had mentioned one on our audio call. And so yes, if people want to possibly, know more, can you give some suggestions?
Yeah, the book that I read that made me go vegan, Skinny Bitch, is an amazing book. It's written very tongue-in-cheek, and it's all medical-based information, and all of the sources are cited at the end of the book. So it's a really, really great book if you like to read. Most people like to watch documentaries now and movies. So Game Changers, if you're into health, sports, that is an amazing documentary to watch. So if you haven't watched Game Changers, please watch it. If you love animals and you're an animal lover, Dominion is really tough to watch, but a must-see if you're an animal lover, because Dominion will go through every animal industry that there is. So just every level of different animals, it goes through each animal one by one. What else? Cowspiracy is a really good one. There's so many. What the hell? I can share some that we can share some links to too.
Yes.
There's quite a few documentaries that are local and made in India. If people are curious, like what happens differently in India, because I do hear that a lot.
Right.
That cows are treated differently in India. So I have a lot of documentaries from my Indian activist friends that have been shared with me that have India-specific dairy industry documentaries that will show like what actually is happening behind closed doors in India specifically. So I can share that too.
Right. So what we can do is possibly after this, you can maybe just share the list and I can post it on the story, and you can also post it on the story so that people who want to know the names, it would be sort of easier for them to, just take a screenshot and keep it with them.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so all right. So, what is your best memory or your happiest memory since you took this decision? Something related to veganism that has been your, the one of your happiest memories now.
Let's see. So when I first got to India, I came from Nepal, and I wasn't an activist at all. I was an apologetic vegan. I was like, I hated the word vegan, and I met a vegan activist at a vegan restaurant in Rishikesh, and that activist shared a post about me on Instagram, and he had just traveled all India and done a lot of activism. Well, pretty much the entire Indian vegan community reached out to me after that post, and over the next 6 months, they invited me into their homes, people I didn't even know. And that's Indian hospitality, obviously, but the vegans take it to another level. And so city by city, my India tour turned into Vegan India tour. And my first time doing activism was actually at the Dalai Lama temple in Dharamshala with a vegan monk, a vegan nun, and a vegan dentist who started the Dharamshala vegan movement up there, and a bunch of tourists that joined in, a couple dogs and a couple kids. So that was a pretty amazing memory, and a pretty amazing place to participate in outreach. I can't think of a better place than the Dalai Lama temple. So it was really interesting. We talked to a lot of monks and nuns, and not all of them are vegan. So it was a really interesting conversation.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Carly, you were mentioning someone had asked you a question on one of your posts. So possibly we can address that question and then we can move on to the other questions that I also received.
Yeah, definitely. Someone asked what my favorite vegan protein is that's not soy. She said because soy is too sweet. I know a lot of people have an aversion to soy. My favorite protein is actually oats. So oats have as much protein per 100 grams as tofu does. So tofu has 17 grams of protein per 100 gram serving, and oats has 16. So I love it. It's cheap, it's accessible, and most people already have it in their kitchen. So vegan doesn't have expensive or elite or fancy. You don't have to be a great cook or chef with all of these ingredients. Like, just grab your oats that are already in your cupboard, and yeah, it's a really great protein source that most people don't think of.
Yeah. Okay, so people who possibly might want to know a little more of the recipes. So these recipes I have already discussed with Carly on the podcast, basically the audio call that will be posted on YouTube, and you can hear it there. And you will find a lot of recipes there with tofu. And yes, there are the banana ice creams. Was it that? Yeah?
Nice cream. Nice
Yes.
cream.
So
Ice cream
if you want to view all of those, yes, so if you want to hear those, you can just go to my YouTube on Shruti Outloud, and there you can just listen to this whole conversation, which is much more in details and everything. So, okay, so we have a question right here. What's the substitute for milk? It's difficult to quit tea, and that's by Sapna. So, yes.
Hi, Sapna. How are you? That's a really good question. I know everyone loves their chai. I'm a coffee nut. And so I always have to have my coffee in the morning, and I was never one to drink black coffee. You can totally drink your coffee or tea black without any milk, but if you like the flavor and you want a good substitute, there are so many: coconut milk, almond milk, soy milk. I would say going with the most sustainable option, coconut milk in India. I'm in South India, but I still would say coconut milk is the most accessible and sustainable option. My current favorite to put in my coffee is by Good Milk, which is based in Bangalore, and they make a cashew oat milk, and it's not super expensive. It comes in Tetra packs for like a small Tetra pack for 28 rupees, and they make it to taste like milk, to have the best flavor for mixing in with coffee and tea. So give it a go if you can find any, maybe after lockdown. But the Good milk is really good with tea. Otherwise, I personally use soy milk, unsweetened soy milk. So that's my go-to option because it's the healthiest. But you can't go wrong with coconut milk either. Or you can make your own oat milk at home. If you have oats and water, you put it in a blender and you just sift it when you're done through the strainer, and you have oat milk.
There you go. Okay, Carly, I would also like to ask you, before we move on to other questions, I would also like to ask you, what do you think is the biggest challenge that people face when they're already vegetarians and they want to sort of make a transition to being a vegan? But yes, so what do you think is the most challenging thing that vegetarians face?
From what I've heard, most vegetarians here, the biggest challenge is their family and living at home with family that's not vegan. I would say that's the number one thing that I hear. And it's true because as I know, living in an Indian household is the mom controls the kitchen. So if the person controlling the kitchen isn't vegan, it can be a little bit tough. Would you agree?
Carly, your voice is breaking a bit. Carly?
Hello. Is that better?
Just say something. I think so, yeah. I think it's better now.
Yeah, so I think that family not being vegan and living with family is usually the number one challenge. Would you agree?
Yes. Yes, I think I will. Definitely, because yes, I am a vegetarian, but yes, I do think about, the transition. But yes, my brother is saying my family is the worst.
So I'll offer up the solution. So me and my partner are both vegan, and we live at home with his family. And his parents are not vegan. His sister is vegan. So if you can get part of the family to go vegan, you might have a better odds of controlling the kitchen. So there's three of us that are vegan and two that aren't. But what they do is they're already veg, so they make all of the food. We make it all vegan, and sometimes they'll make something separate with some curd or have a can of condensed milk in the fridge that they'll use separately with their tea. But they've really started just substituting, instead of ghee, they use oil. There's even by a brand called MK, because I know that's a staple for most Indian kitchens. So just swapping out vegetable oil or coconut oil instead of ghee is easy for most parents to do. And then we bring lots of vegan options home and stock them in the kitchen. So we'll bring home some soy milk or some cashew oat milk. We'll even splurge on vegan cheese every once in a while if everyone wants cheese toast. And I like to make smoothies in the morning for everyone. So that helps too. So if you're having a hard time getting your family to cook vegan, try cooking for them. The more I cook for them, the easier it is. So I'll make smoothies.
I think so. Actually, that would.
And make some for everyone.
That's a very good option. That because I think that's the biggest challenge that at least the Indian families face. That yes, the family is vegetarian, but yes, because mom has been cooking and she has her own recipes. So asking her to replace something in her recipe would be it would bring a lot of chaos basically. But yes, if instead of asking her if I cook something, then obviously there won't be any issue as such. That's true.
Yeah. And over time too, like in the beginning it's a little bit tricky, I think. I've come in where everyone's been, at least my partner and his sister have been vegan for 8-9 years. So now their parents, like, they know that it's nothing personal about their cooking or their recipes, but it's a thing that we believe in so much that they actually really respect it, and they don't try to get us to eat anything non-vegan. So I'm trying to put questions there. Question about coronavirus. I mean, there are rumors that it started from from a illegal animal market. So most of these diseases have come from humans abusing animals. So if the world were vegan, most likely we wouldn't have this pandemic going on in the first place. Something to think about.
Okay, so Sapna is saying she has got another question. All right, Sapna, go for it.
Yes, I think questions here. Hi, Sapna. I love the questions. Keep them coming. I'll answer every single one of them. No questions.
I am also trying to look for the questions that were asked. Just a second. Sapna, we are waiting for your question till then.
Sapna, you were asking. It's by Good Milk. I'll send you their page. It's really easy to find normally, but because of lockdown, they've stopped shipping. So you'll only find it if it's already available in that store. But after the lockdown, it will be available. Okay, if a farmer has a pet cow or buffalo and he looks after it and cares for it, can we still not use the milk from the cow? Really, really good question, Sapna. I'm really glad you asked that question, and thank you for asking it. So here's the deal. So if a farmer has a cow as a pet, what happens is cows only produce milk after they've had a baby, just like people. So these cows are forcefully impregnated over and over again, and they're actually raped by the farmers. Unnaturally, they stick something inside of them. So they tie the bull down, they get the semen. Then they take the female cow, they tie it up, and they artificially inseminate them. So that cow holds the baby for almost as long as a human, 8 or 9 months. They feel attached to that baby, just like a human mom. The baby is born, and what happens is the baby is then taken away from the mom. So basically kidnapped immediately after birth. And then the mom is only producing the milk for that baby because she was pregnant with that baby for 8-9 months. So then we take the baby away from her, which is really emotional for the mom and the baby, and then we steal the milk that she's only producing for that baby. So then the baby is not getting the nutrition they need, just like a human baby needs its mom's milk. So what happens to the baby is one of two things. If it's a female, they'll keep it so that they can raise it to impregnate it over and over again, just like the mom. And then once they're done with the females, once they can't have babies anymore, they send them off for slaughter. India is the number 2 exporter of beef for slaughter in the whole world, or they kill them for leather. So beef for leather. The dairy industry feeds cows into the beef and leather industry. If it's a male cow, they're sent for slaughter for veal. Or what happens most of the time in India is they're just left neglected on the street because nobody wants a male cow. They can't get milk from them, so they're considered a waste product, and they just let them die in the streets. It's really, really, really sad. So the only reason that mom is producing that milk is for its baby. So no farmer would keep it as a pet if they weren't getting something from it. No one's taking care of a cow as a pet without taking milk from it. So we're stealing that milk. Does that answer that question? Like, am I explaining it? Yeah. So there are a lot of sanctuaries who have rescued these cows. They don't impregnate them. These cows are not having babies. They're not producing milk. And these sanctuaries are letting them live a natural life. And that is amazing. And if you have a pet cow that you have saved, I encourage you guys to volunteer at these sanctuaries. Not most gaushalas are not so good. They do still milk the cows, but there are some that are good. But there are some sanctuaries. People Farm in Dharamshala, I've spent a lot of time at. Sadhana Forest in Oroville. There's quite a few all over India, and they just let them live their happy lives, and they don't take any milk from them. So in that way, if you have a pet cow, 100%. But if you're farming that cow, then no.
So just to mention something here. So my mom, she is an animal lover, and she has been taking care of these poor stray cows that people just left. And these cows, I mean, they are emotionally intelligent, and they actually listen to what my mom says, and it really surprises us. It completely, because my mom will say, okay, do this, and the cows actually listen to her. And we, because of the lockdown, my mom, obviously, my mom is not going out. So those cows, they come in front of our gate every day, and my mom has all the fodder, and so my mom has all the fodder and everything stored at home. And so we have one cow will come, she'll eat, then she'll go, then the other one will come. So that happens throughout the day for us. So, but yes, this is something.
Who's there?
Okay,
I see. Hi, Renata. How are you? Hi, Sarah. Sorry, I saw a few people join. Hi, Sapna.
Yeah.
I answered your question. Who else?
Okay, we have another question.
Yes.
I travel a lot.
Go ahead.
Yes, please do. Go ahead.
Okay. I travel a lot due to my job and stay at hotels. Any suggestions how to stick to the vegan diet, as it's difficult to get vegan food? Yes, I have so many suggestions for you. Feel free to DM me after this conversation, because I've been on the road budget traveling for the last 2 years, and sometimes it can get difficult. When I first started traveling, I thought I had to go to vegan restaurants and touristy spots to get vegan food. Then I realized a lot of things. Most street food is vegan, number one. So you can eat on the streets. Not that I think you should live off of street food, but pani puri is vegan. Most things on the street are vegan. Bel puri. Fruit stands and vegetable stands you can find everywhere. So my go-to is always a healthy raw food diet. You can always find fresh in season local fruits and veggies, and that's pretty easy. The other thing is, I don't know where you travel, but most local, I go to local pure veg restaurants, and I just tell them no butter, no ghee. No butter, no ghee, no curd, and then most everything is vegan. So I hope that helps a little bit. It's knowing that you don't need to go to fancy, expensive, touristy vegan restaurants to find good vegan food. If you have like a small kitchen in your hotel room, I always buy oats at the store because all you need is hot water in a bowl, and I'll buy some fresh fruit, and I'll make banana oats, put mango on my oats, pomegranates on top, and that's really easy while traveling, and high protein. Otherwise, like just local South Indian food is a go-to. Does that answer your question? Where do you travel?
Yeah, Satyendra, if you can just tell us the places that you travel to, and Carly can possibly, address it in a better way. And
Yeah.
okay, so Carly, I have
have one tip.
done.
If you get the app Happy Cow, if you're traveling and you want to try out new restaurants and you want to try to stick to a vegan diet, so the Happy Cow app like saved me when I started traveling, especially in India. And I don't work for them. I'm not plugging them. I don't get anything out of it. But I joke that I should work for them. So download Happy Cow app.
Okay.
Any city that you're in, you just click on nearby and it will show you a list of restaurants. And there's different categories. You can click on vegan, vegetarian, or vegan options. And it will show you the closest restaurants. And there will be pictures and reviews. And I found some of the best places that way. And it's really fun to give reviews to these restaurants and help their business too when you find them. So I feel like that's part of my good karma is like when you're traveling is going to these restaurants and supporting them by posting pictures and giving reviews and helping their business and posting about them on Instagram. So helping these small businesses and encouraging them to have vegan things on their menu. Like I'll say, thank you for the vegan option on the menu. That way it becomes more accessible because it is a little more expensive for them sometimes. So if you encourage them, tell them that you want vegan options or thank them for having the vegan options, they're more likely to continue to have them. Hi, so Mel. How are you?
All right.
What other questions?
So I have one more. Yes. So somebody asked, why do people transition to veganism? Is it majorly to save cows or have other reason as well?
Okay, my travel is pan-India and hotels are 4 out of 5 stars. But the issue is options in the hotel are less and it's difficult to go looking for vegan food after work. Okay, that's, okay, so what I do in that situation, the few times that I've been like at a hotel or in a place where I can't go out looking for food, like for instance, recently we were flying, which I try not to do, and we had a pass for the airport lounge, and they had a buffet, and it was not super vegan friendly. So we really nicely asked the chef, like, hey, we're vegan. It means we don't eat any animal products. And we explained, like, okay, no milk, no cheese, no butter, no curd. Would you be able to do anything for us? And the chef like jumped at the opportunity. He bent over backwards. He offered to make us a special veggie platter and grilled up some fresh veggies for us and rice. And we wrote a letter about him to the airline. And he was so sweet. And like I find that really often if you ask nicely and just explain the situation, people in the service industry, like I was in the service industry my whole life, like that's what they live for is an opportunity to like make someone's day, especially when you're traveling. And then it's like they go above and beyond, and then you get to thank them for doing it. So yeah, my advice would be to just nicely, politely tell them that you are vegan and do they have any vegan options? And usually they'll be able to work with you. Yeah, it's worked pretty well for me.
All right. Satyendra, I really hope that will help you out in your future travel plans, and hopefully you will be able to stick to your vegan diet or lifestyle, as whichever you want to call it.
Separately, if you have questions about different places that you're traveling. Let's see. Pan India. So that's in India. Okay. Yeah, especially 4 or 5 star hotels. They should definitely have the customer service part down. So if you ask nicely, I bet they'll definitely cook you a nice vegan meal, or at least give you the options, let you know if there's a buffet, like which contains ghee and which doesn't, and then it becomes pretty easy. So don't be afraid to ask. That's my best advice.
That's the main thing, that if, just ask for it.
Ask nicely, and
Ask
you'll be surprised how far that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
All right. So, Carly? Uh-huh.
What other questions did you have?
Yeah, so somebody asked that why do people transition to veganism? Is it majorly to save cows or have other reason as well? I think I would really want you to answer this question, because a lot of people, they think that being vegan is just about, saving cows. But I would let you answer that question, to be very honest.
I think everyone has their own reason. For some people, it's the environment. For some people, it's their love of animals or love of cows. For some people, it's their health. So just like every person is different, every person has a different reason for choosing veganism. So for me, I connect with the animals. So it is 100% for the animals. Everything else is a side benefit. Like, I care about my health and the environment, but that comes second to caring about the animals. So I hope that answers that question.
Right, I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so next question
has a question. She said, "Hi, Carly. You mentioned you started off being an apologetic vegan, yes, when interacting and saying you are vegan, and people ask why. What is your most concise and effective answer?" Yeah, I used to be like, sorry to be a pain because I'm vegan. I'm so sorry. I don't care what you do. Just let me be vegan on my own. I didn't even use the word vegan. And then I was like, what am I apologizing for? Why should I apologize for just having these values? So I really stopped apologizing for it. Like when I realized that. And yes, I answered it a little bit, that my most concise and effective answer would be, because I don't feel that it's right that we should exploit animals for our own pleasure. So I don't think that we should have the right to do that. So the same compassion that we extend towards people, we extend that compassion towards animals. And we don't exploit them for our clothing, our food, our cosmetics.
Right.
Yeah. People do see it as restrictive, but I don't see it as restrictive at all, because I can eat anything that you eat. Like, it's so much easier now. There's vegan cheese, there's vegan burgers, there's vegan curd. So
Everything is there, yeah.
Even if there wasn't vegan cheese or vegan curd, I still wouldn't feel restricted to change a little bit, to tweak what I eat so that I'm not causing another being suffering just for a meal. So I guess it's all in how you look at it.
Okay, so another question is, any suggestions for people who love cheese? How can they adapt to veganism?
So cheese was my toughest one to give up. I almost cheated once on a ravioli, and I put it back. So I would say number one is your taste buds change. You'd be surprised how much you don't need cheese on everything. Now I can eat pasta with red sauce and some salt and pepper and veggies, and I don't need cheese on it. But if you do love cheese and yogurt, and you're starting out being vegan, start with substitutes. So if you miss yogurt, back home in the US, there's soy yogurt, coconut yogurt. There's so many good yogurt options. We don't have those in India, so I miss yogurt so much from back home. But you can find really good cheese substitutes here. There's a lot of good brands in India. So they're local brands. Soft Spot from Bangalore, Kauvati from Mumbai, Happy Calf. There's a lot of good Live Yum, a lot of good vegan cheeses that have come on the market. So try out your options. There are vegan substitutes for mayo, butter, curd, milk, cheese, you name it.
Everything,
so when you're first transitioning, try out those substitutes. Slowly over time, your taste buds will change and you won't miss it so much.
Right.
You might
And
even
here people are also... Absolutely, yeah. And people are saying that, once you, I think these people are also vegans. So they are saying that once you get into it, you stop missing these things. So yeah, it's more like, initially you might have those cravings, but gradually these things will go away. So it's about, yes, sort of,
it's
letting,
it's like sugar. So sugar actually creates an addiction in the body. Well, so does dairy. It's been proven that dairy actually has agents in it, whatever you call it, that actually cause you to feel addicted to it. So when you give up dairy, it's going to feel similar to giving up sugar, where your body might feel like addicted to it, but slowly over time, once you kick that habit, if you have it every once in a while, it's okay, but your body also kicks the habit of being addicted to it.
That's true. Okay, so yes, this will be reposted in the stories, and people who have missed out the beginning or the middle or the end, this will be posted in the stories, and this will also be posted on YouTube. And you can also check our audio conversation that we did few days back on the same topic, and it is much, much more in details. And yes, you can hear to all of that on YouTube, and the links will be posted. And before, Carly, I let you go, I have a quick round of rapid fire questions. So quickly, I'll say a word, you say the word, and we'll close it. We'll move on to the next, yeah?
Okay, let's
Good to go? All right. Okay, so India.
Wait, what are we doing? I'm so confused.
Okay, so it's a rapid fire round where I will say one word or give you options, and without thinking, instantly whatever comes to your mind, like instantly, you just have to say it in one word or two words, maybe not more than that.
Okay. All right, let's go.
All right, so your first prompt is India.
Food.
Superfood.
I just say what comes to mind.
Yes. So when you hear India, what comes to your mind? The first thing that comes to your mind is your answer.
Indian food.
All right, so next prompt is superfood.
Superfood, spirulina.
Your midnight snack.
Ooh, frozen fruit.
Mm-hmm. Okay, because we met while traveling, so here's the next question. Are you ready? Mountains or beaches?
Beaches. It's cut.
Uh-huh.
Okay, you lost me on mountains and beaches.
All right. I said masala oat or banana.
Banana.
And the last one is home.
Wherever I am right now. As a true traveler.
All right. You did really good. So this was I think it was a very good session, and I think a lot of people got to know a lot of new things and a lot of questions were answered. And if anybody needs to ask more questions, please feel free either to get in touch with me or you can get in touch with Carly. And if you want to hear more of our fun conversations.
Just joined. Preet and Shasvati. Hi guys, how's it going? We just finished up about veganism and easing into veganism. Shasvati obviously is vegan. She makes vegan cheese, so she's one of the brands I was just talking about. And Eat with Preet is a vegan food blogger that I met while traveling as well. And we've talked a lot about veganism as well. How's it going?
It's so good to have so many people in these, live discussion. That is, I think, the best part. That people who know me, people who know you, everybody is coming together and, sort of having a discussion over a common topic. I think that's
Yeah.
really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having this discussion and for sharing it with all of your friends. So I really appreciate it. So thank you for giving me this platform to share and spread some compassion. And thank you for being so interested in veganism yourself. I feel like you're honorary vegan, like you're already on your way there.
Thank you so much, and really thanks a lot for agreeing to be a part of this, the whole podcast thing that I'm working on. And I think I couldn't have thought of a better person to address veganism. I think you are the best person to go ahead with. Absolutely. So thank you for being my guest. And for people who have missed it, everything will be posted on Instagram stories, on YouTube, and everywhere. So, you can just get a glimpse of everything like everywhere. Wherever you want to see, just go and type in Shruti out loud and you will find this conversation there.
Awesome. Hi, Arpita. All right, we'll have to do this again. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. So let's do one thing. If possibly, after this session, I will post something on my stories and possibly we might just call you back for another round of wonderful recipes, vegan recipes.
That would be awesome. I can't wait. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
All right. Bye, Carly.
Have a good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so before leaving, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of this live conversation. And if you have any questions, please feel free to get in touch with me, or you can directly get in touch with Carly. And all of this will be posted on the stories, on the Instagram posts, on YouTube. So, yeah, just if you need to know more about veganism, we are right here. And have a beautiful night, and thank you for joining it. Bye, good night.